If you're a real estate agent, you know just how many buyer and seller guides you have to send out on a weekly or a monthly basis. In fact, these buyer and seller guides or buyer and seller packages, whatever you want to call them, are pretty much a necessity of the job. Anytime you have a new lead come in or a new client, you're almost always giving them this buyer package or seller package so they can understand, the process and the current market and how your brand is different than other brands and all the stuff that those buyer packages and seller packages tend to say. Sometimes if you're running Facebook ads, you're even going to use that buyer or seller package as like the lead magnet to attract that person into your ad and get them to give you their information. But the problem with 99.9% of all buyer and seller packages is that they are very generic. I'm not talking about the branding. Sure, yours is probably more beautiful than everyone else's and it uses your logo and the $1,000 headshot that you had taken and all the pictures are big and blown up and you print it on the highest quality of paper. And all that's great. And sure, it might help differentiate you a little bit from the average realtor. But what's inside of it is still very generic. And usually clients have probably seen something very similar from 3 other realtors that they talked to before you. They all have the same outlook on the market. They all have essentially the same buying or selling process. And there's probably a section that says, here's what differentiates us. But there's not a whole lot that you can change. I mean, you can't lie about the market. You can't change the statistics. And every real estate agent in your area is working off of the same statistics. So how do you truly differentiate it? How do you make it so that that person feels like that buyer package or that seller package was written specifically for them? Well, that is exactly what I'm going to show you how to do in this video with the help of AI. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly how you can use AI to generate you a hyper-personalized, hyper-targeted buyer or seller package that you can then give to every client. And this package is specifically customized with their name, their neighborhood that they're looking to buy in, property type they're looking to purchase. Everything is specific to them and all the data you have on them. So they feel like, wow, this realtor actually took the time to write this specifically for me. And don't worry, if you're thinking, oh, that would take so long to write a separate package for every single client, it doesn't take long because AI does all of the work for you, including putting it together in the package itself so that it's beautifully crafted. So we're going to break it down in this video. I'm going to show you the process. I'm going to show you the tools that I use, and I'm going to show you step by step how this is done. Now, real quick, if you don't know who I am, my name is Brandon Upright. I've been a real estate agent for over 7 years now, and I've been using AI in my real estate business for over 3. I also own my own AI development and consulting agency where I help real estate agents like you integrate AI into their business. Now, I want to take 10 seconds here to tell you about the school community that we just launched, where I show real estate agents exactly how I build out all these different automations and workflows and AI agents, as well as tons of other content like teaching you about AI and all the new AI tools coming out, how to prompt, how to use ChatGPT effectively. Basically, if you are a real estate agent and you're thinking, man, I gotta really get on top of this AI thing, this is the place to go. This is exactly where you learn how to use AI in your real estate business. This is not a generic AI community. This is a community specifically for real estate professionals who want to learn how to use AI, how to stay on top of it so that they don't get left behind by everybody else who's using it. The name of the community is called the Autopilot Agent Academy. For obvious reasons, I'm trying to teach you how to use AI to put your business on autopilot. And if you're watching this video early enough, the first 100 members get locked in at $47 per month forever. So that price will never increase, but after 100 members, I will be increasing the price for everybody else. So if you sign up before we hit 100 members, you're gonna be locked in at that low price forever. And honestly, after that, the price is probably gonna be doubling because there's just so much value and so much content that's constantly being uploaded there. I mean, we're doing live calls, we're doing live business audits, Q&As, so many cool things in that community. Plus, it's a community. So there's other real estate agents in there who are interested in the same thing. They want to use AI to automate their business, and they're collaborating with each other and they're learning from each other and asking questions. So it's a really cool place to be. So if you're a real estate agent who wants to learn how to use AI in their business, definitely check that out. It's in the description below and pinned in the first comment as well. Now, without further ado, we're gonna hop into my computer and I'm gonna show you exactly how this whole process is done. So the first thing we need to talk about is what tools we're actually using to get this all done. Basically, there's just 3 tools that we're gonna be using aside from your email platform of choice, but It's basically 3 tools that we're going to be using to make this happen. First one is Perplexity. So Perplexity is the LLM that we're going to be using to actually gather the real estate stats and figures. We're going to be using Gamma to actually build the presentation and put it all together into like a PDF or something that we can send to the client. And then we're going to be using ChatGPT to actually, write all of the copy inside of the presentation to make it sound nice and professional and stuff like that. So 3 different AI tools that we're going to be using one after another to create this really awesome presentation. So the first tool we're going to use is Perplexity. Just go to perplexity.ai. That's the website there. It's going to look very similar to a ChatGPT where there's just a text box. I'm showing you this on a free account with Perplexity because I want to show you what's possible even with the free account. I mean, obviously if you upgrade to Pro, it's going to be even better, but I'm going to show you with the free account. Now, if you look at the bottom here, there's a few different tools. One is search, one is research, and then one is labs. What we're going to do is we're going to click research. So this will allow Perplexity to do some like really, really deep research on whatever it is that we're asking it to do. And if you hover over, you'll see that on the free account, I have 3 queries remaining today. So I can ask 3 questions essentially today using this deep research function. If I did search, then I can turn on this Pro Search, which is like a more powerful version. And then I have 3 queries as well. We're doing deep research because not only does it dive deeper into the topic, but it will also present it to you in a more sort of analytical way. Like if you were doing research for, I don't know, a research paper in school or, your company or whatever. So that's all fine and dandy, but what exactly are we going to ask Perplexity? Perplexity is where we are going to get the real estate data, like the stats and figures of, property sales, home prices, things like that. But it's also where we're going to be accessing like neighborhood demographics, local restaurants, stuff like that. So to make this as realistic as possible, I made a client avatar here. So we're just going to pretend this is a new client that I just got. They want me to help them buy a home, and I'm going to send them a buyer presentation. So this is Jack Sparrow. Jack Sparrow is my new client. He's a buyer client. He's looking for a detached single-family home, 3 bedrooms, 1.5 to 2 bathrooms. He's looking for a minimum of 1,300 square feet. Target area is the west end of Edmonton. Edmonton's the city that I live in. Looking for the west end of Edmonton, and their budget is $750,000. So this is the typical information that you would have on, a buyer client. Maybe there'll be some additional stuff, but this will give you a good idea. So we have all this information on the client. We're going to go to Perplexity, and I'm going to write up the entire prompt, and then I'm going to show you what I wrote. And actually, I'm going to add in one thing here just to make it super custom. I'm going to add a note that says they are moving here from BC, which is like our neighboring province. So as a client that is moving here from out of province and they're looking for this type of home. And then we're going to go back to Perplexity, and I'm going to do something a little bit different here than my other videos, which is that I'm going to use the voice dictation to speak to the AI. So rather than me taking, 10 minutes to type out this prompt, I'm going to just talk to it like I would a normal human and converse that way. So if you look down on the bottom right, you'll see this little microphone symbol. Just hit that, and then you can talk to the AI. And most AIs nowadays, like ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, lots of these other tools are really, really good at understanding you and translating that into actual text for the AI. And using dictation is a really good habit to get into because it not only speeds up your entire process, it's really, really efficient, but it also puts you in a good habit of conversing with the AI back and forth so that you're not spending so much time crafting the perfect response. You're having an actual conversation with the AI. Helps the AI learn better about, you and what you're looking for, and it just also speeds up the entire workflow. So let's hit the dictation button. I'm a real estate agent in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and I have a new client who is looking to buy a home from me. This client is going to be new to the city, is moving here from BC, and so I want to put together a personalized buyer presentation for them, which gives them a lot of details on the real estate market, neighborhood stats, crime stats, but also, fun things to do in Edmonton and specifically in the area that they're looking for. So they're looking to purchase in the West End. So I'd like to include important details about the West End, like popular restaurants, shopping areas, local amenities, things like that. But I also want you to include very specific and up-to-date information about real estate stats in the West End, and sales data, neighborhood stats, different neighborhoods that they could look into that are sought after or more popular. Really add as much information as you can to make this the best presentation possible for this buyer. Okay, so that's it. So it generated this entire script here. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, at the very bottom, add in all of my client details so that the AI really knows what it is my client's looking for. And then I'm just going to send that. Now you'll see, because we had that deep research function on, it's going to take some time. So it might take a couple minutes. Sometimes it's quicker than others. But the cool thing about Perplexity is built for research. The whole point of Perplexity AI is that it researches a topic with the most up-to-date information possible. And you can actually see the sources that it's gathering all of its information from, which is really cool as well. So that way you can go back, you can check the sites, you can make sure that it's accurate and the sources that it used are reputable sources. And just look at how much information it's researching right now. So first off, there's 20 sources that it's going through for what looks like Edmonton or West Edmonton real estate data, right? So tons there. Then we have gathering current details on West Edmonton Mall, which is the big mall in the West End, local restaurants and shopping options and recreation activity. So it's getting all the information from those sites. Then what else is it doing? Edmonton's overall crime rate. So it's gathering all the crime stuff. So that's really awesome. Then we're doing neighborhood lists. So it's like really breaks down what I said into pieces. Then it does thorough research on all of those different pieces. And then it's going to put together all of that information. And you can see everything that it's working on. So it says compiling detailed up-to-date information on the West End, real estate market, neighborhoods, amenities, safety, and living costs. Then it's creating a Python script, probably to scrape some page. Creating a bar chart that visually summarizes Edmonton's June 2025 real estate prices, which is crazy. So it's creating actual like visual charts. Visualizing a typical monthly homeownership cost in West Edmonton for a $750,000 property. Okay, and then now it is done. So here's what it created. West Edmonton Real Estate Buyer's Guide 2025. Now don't worry, this is not the actual buyer's guide that we're using. This is just tons and tons of data that we're going to then use inside of Gamma to make it look a lot prettier. So what do we got here? We got current real estate market overview. We got West Edmonton neighborhoods, prestigious communities, popular established communities, dining excellence, recreation and parks, schools and education, transportation and connectivity, and this is all pertaining to the West End. So all of this stuff is specific to West End, to 3-bedroom homes, and data about the West End neighborhoods. Makes these cool graphs. This is all generated by the AI itself. It didn't pull this off Google. This is generated by AI. Home insurance costs, investment outlook. So tons and tons of info there. And this is only a piece of the information that we're putting into this presentation, right? So this is only part one of the 3 tools that we're using here. So now at the very bottom, you see there's a few options: share, export, or rewrite. So if you don't like what it said, you can rewrite it. I've never had to. I've always liked what Perplexity writes, but I do want to export it. So we're going to export this as a PDF, okay? Reason why we're doing PDF is because AI is really good at reading PDFs. So now that we exported that, we're going to go into ChatGPT now. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to use dictation, and we're just going to tell it what it is that we're trying to do. I'm a real estate agent in Edmonton, Alberta, and I have a new client who I need to create a buyer presentation for. I've uploaded a PDF for you, which includes all of the real estate data, analytics, neighborhood stats. All the research has been done for you, and it's inside of this PDF. but I want you to take that and I want you to elaborate on it and really make it hyper personal to my client. So I'm going to give you my client's information, like their name, and then I want you to rewrite this entire presentation, but still use the same data that I've included in this PDF. I want you to use all the same data, all the same stats and figures, all the same business recommendations, amenities, everything the same, but I want you to rewrite it so that it's personalized to my client and using their name and all their property search criteria details that I'm giving you. Then you just click the check. It's going to turn it all into text. And then so we're going to have a couple things to add here. So we're going to add client details, just like we said we would. I got to add the client name, which is Jack Sparrow. And then we're going to upload that PDF. So I uploaded the PDF from Perplexity. We got all that client info there. We got the instructions here. Then we're going to click send. And then pretty much instantly, it's going to rewrite the entire thing. And this is what I'm talking about really getting personalized with these. So imagine you're a new buyer and a realtor sends you a beautifully crafted presentation that has a tons of data in it and it's really long. And you open it and it says, Jack, making the move from BC to Edmonton is an exciting step, and West Edmonton offers everything you need. Immediately, you're like, wow, did this guy write this specifically for me? That's pretty crazy. West Edmonton stands as one of Canada's most desirable residential areas, and then it mentions incredible value compared to BC markets. This feels like it was written specifically for Jack Sparrow. It's pretty crazy. And then, of course, it's going to give you all the crazy information that we put together. Now, I noticed that what it created for me seems to be shorter than Perplexity. So I'm just going to say, what you created seems to be shorter than the file that I gave you. I want to make sure that all of the important information that was in that file is included here. Don't skip out on any information. It's okay to be elaborate and highly detailed, but I want to make sure that all that information is captured in what you're creating for me. And you can see from using the dictation and speaking to it how much quicker things are. I mean, for me to be writing all this out, especially that Perplexity one, how long that was, for me to write out all of this would have taken quite a decent amount of time. So the dictation feature is just way quicker. So it's giving me the plan. Here's a structured plan for the personalized buyer presentation, the cover page, blah, 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 blah. Great. And then it says, do you want me to create this as a fully designed PDF or deliver the content in a clean Word document for you to format later? Just a clean document with just the words is good for me. And again, because you're using the voice dictation here, it's super easy to do this while you're on the go. I mean, even when you're stuck in traffic, you can just use the ChatGPT app and the Perplexity app and just talk to it and have it create this stuff for you. I mean, if you're on the way to your seller's listing appointment, you could have it create this for you right then and there, put it all together, and have it emailed to the client by the time you get to their house. Okay, and then here's what it created. So it says your complete West Edmonton home buying guide. And it's still going, but check this out. This looks really, really awesome. Prestigious communities. Yep, those are all true. These are really, really wealthy communities, so that's awesome. All of this looks good. Keep scrolling through to make sure. Valley Line West LRT expansion. Yep, this is like our public train. Okay, that looks good. So I'm going to say, please turn this into a downloadable file for me. And then you just got to click the link. Boom, I downloaded it as the docx. Great. Now the last step is we're going to go to Gamma. And all you got to do is create an account. You don't need a pro account. There is a free one. Although if you don't have one, then you can only generate up to 20 cards. Just think of cards like pages of your presentation. So I recommend doing it for $8 a month. Again, you don't have to, you can try out the free, but you can make longer presentations. And if you're doing this for like multiple clients every single month or week even, then definitely $8 a month is worth it. You get unlimited AI creation, which is insane. So all we're going to do is we're going to click create new AI. Okay, so we're going to use AI to create the presentation. And then I'm just going to import that file that we just downloaded from ChatGPT. So click this import file or URL, and then just upload the file that ChatGPT just gave you. Okay, so then it uploaded there. And then you have a choice here, presentation, web page, document, or social. I'm going to click document. You can do presentation as well. Presentations do look really, really good. But I'm going to do document because, maybe this is something that I'm going to want to print it, or the client is going to want to print and just kind of review themselves. So I'm going to click document. I'm going to click continue. And then on the left-hand side here, you have generate, condense, or preserve. So there's 3 options here. Preserve means that it's going to keep the details that you have in your file, and it's just going to display them in a nice way. Condense is going to take everything you have and basically summarize it all. And generate is going to take what you have and add on to it if it needs to, maybe tweak some things to make it sound a little bit better. But essentially it's going to use AI to just make it better. If you click generate, then you have a few options here: minimal, concise, detailed, and extensive. Usually for these presentations, I tend to bounce back and forth between detailed and extensive, but sometimes extensive is a little bit too much. It's almost like a research paper. And we don't want to overwhelm the client with too much data, but we do want to present it to them with, a decent amount of information. So I would try with detailed. If that's still too long, you could always go to concise, but let's stick with detailed. Now underneath that, it says write for. So who are we writing this for? And the AI automatically inserted a home buyer moving out of the province, but I'm actually going to get rid of that. And I'm going to put in my entire client information here. So I'm going to put in client information. Name is Jack Sparrow, and then all the other information there. Tone, professional, informative, reassuring. Great, sounds good. Then you can pick your theme. So this is like the kind of, the colors and the branding and all that. Now you can go totally custom and you set it up yourself, which is probably what you're gonna want to do, so that you can have your specific colors and fonts or something similar. But if you're in a rush, maybe you're on the way to the appointment or whatever, and you haven't set up your custom theme already, then you can choose from these. And these all look great, and they're, really, really well put together. So let's just pick one here and see what that looks like. There's more basic kind of black and white stuff. There's some kind of cool, modern, like dark tones. I'm gonna pick something like this. So let's select that. Image sources, so any images that it fills in is AI images, so AI generated if we choose this. But of course we can do stock photos, web images, AI images, things like that. Don't worry, when it creates the whole presentation, you can go in and tweak things as you like. But this is just a quick setting off the bat. You can choose your image art style, so I'm keeping it photorealistic, so I want the images to look as real as possible. And then that's it. And then this tells you how many cards are in place. So actually this works for the free one because it was 10 cards, so that would work fine. And then all you have to do is just click generate. And then literally right in front of your eyes, it's going to generate the entire presentation for you. So I'm just going to speed this up here, and then we'll get to when it's fully generated. Okay, the buyer's guide is finished. Now we're going to check it out. So I'm just going to click present here so we can look at the full screen image here. And remember, all the colors, themes, stuff like that can all be tweaked very quickly. But let's just look at the overall concept. So, welcome to your personalized guide for finding the perfect home in West Edmonton, Jack. As you embark on this exciting journey from British Columbia to Alberta, this comprehensive resource will walk you through everything you need to know about West Edmonton's real estate market, neighborhoods, amenities, and more. With your $750,000 budget, you're well positioned to find an ideal 3-bedroom detached home. So already the intro of this buyer's guide is bang on specific to that client. So this guy reading this would go, holy shit, this was written for me. Like, this guy must have assistants on standby who are just writing this stuff for me. Actually, I'm going to pop back into non-presentation mode because it's easier to scroll. So say why West Edmonton. So we have all the stats here: average detached home, annual growth, days on market, 68% sales to listing ratio. I mean, just crazy. And it's all West End specific, which is super awesome, and specific to detached homes. How your budget fits the market, premium neighborhoods, luxury features, spacious properties, top neighborhoods for you, so we have prestigious communities, historic and established areas, family developments, neighborhood spotlight of Rosenthal. That's one of the new neighborhoods in the West End. So neighborhood spotlight. You got lifestyle and amenities. Has some parks that are in the West End here, some golf courses, YMCA, schools and education in the West End. It even has the construction timeline of our LRT train system because it's being built in the West End right now. That is insane. It has all of our main roads that people transport on, commutes to downtown, safety and investment outlook, cost of living. I mean, this is just insane. And this is honestly more detailed than most brokerages' presentations that I see. It gives recommendations on neighborhoods, property characteristics, strategic approach. Then it gives the step-by-step of how the buying process works: initial consultation, property search, viewing and selection, negotiation and closing. And then from here, like, you can click this plus button, and maybe I want to add, another box here that has me and my contact information with, my headshot, or maybe it's a picture of my brokerage, or maybe it's a picture of, my last client with holding up the sold sign, or like whatever. You can continue to add on to this. And like I said with the images, let's say I don't really like this image. I can click it, and then I can click edit. And then from there, I can either change the prompt for the image, because remember, AI is generating this image. So you can change the prompt if you want, or change the settings of the image, or you can just swap it out with something else. You can upload your own image if you want. You can look on like stock photo websites like Unsplash. You can do a web search, so just get it off of Google. There's like a million different options of how you can customize this. But I mean, think of how long this would have taken you to build in like Canva. Like if you're a new agent, or you just started your own brand, or you switched brokerages or something, and you need to create a new presentation like this, how quickly did we get that done? Like within, 20 minutes, we created this unbelievable presentation that is packed with data specific to that client. So you're not sending the same presentation to somebody looking for a $200,000 townhome as you are to somebody looking for a $1.5 million mansion, which typically is what happens, right? A realtor, regardless of what kind of buyer they are, he or she is sending that client the same buyer package. There's nothing personalized. There's nothing, targeted to what that person is looking for. The information inside of it is not specific to that client, so they're not really getting the information that they should be getting or need to be getting to better understand the market, better understand the type of property they should be looking for, the neighborhoods they should be looking in, things like that. And if you look on the right here, like there's more stuff that you can add. You can add just text, you can add images, you can add charts. Like it pops up here, you can put in column charts, bar charts, line charts, pie charts. Like there's so many different options of how you can customize this and tweak it. And let's just say you're like, I don't really like these colors or the theme or whatever. Just go up here, click theme, and then you can just scroll through and select your theme again, right? Maybe I want, something like this yellow one. Boom. And then it just instantly changes the theme for you. Now I got this theme. Like there's so many different options. You can create your own theme, obviously. So you'd put in, your logo up here, and you would have your own colors and things like that. And then when you're done, you can either share it with your client with just this link, or you can go over here, click these dots, and click export, and just export it as a PDF, and then just send it to them via an email like you normally would anyways. I love this workflow. Blows me away every time. It is so powerful. And I mean, you don't have to just use it for buyer seller guides. You can use it for investors. You can use it for marketing packages for your listings. Basically, anytime that you're putting together a presentation of some sort for somebody, use Gamma, because it will just make it way better than you ever will. And when you pair it with these other AI tools like ChatGPT and Perplexity, now you're getting super targeted, hyper researched data and giving it to ChatGPT to write it better than you probably ever would, and then giving it to Gamma to put it together in a way that looks more beautiful than you would be able to. So yeah, anyways, that is the workflow. It is basically a superpower. Highly recommend you use it in your real estate business, and I hope this was useful for you. So as you can see, using an AI system like this to generate your buyer and seller packages, or even to generate any other type of resource that you want to create in your real estate business, is super effective because it is hyper personalized, hyper targeted to that specific lead, which makes them feel like you put in that extra work and you spent the time for them specifically. They're not just another number in the spreadsheet, they are an important client that you took the time to build this super custom buyer or seller package for them. And they get a ton of extra value inside of that because they can actually get the real data on, the 2 or 3 neighborhoods they're actually interested in, the specific property types that they're interested in, and all the stats that go behind that, rather than them just reading about the generic market stats in your city and, the price changes month over month and all the same stuff that they're going to read in every other real estate agent's package. So this is an awesome way for you to stand out by utilizing AI. It's hardly any work for you, as you can see. And like I said at the beginning of this video, if utilizing AI like this is of interest to you, learning how to use AI to automate different parts of your business, make you more productive, more efficient, save time, and honestly just run a better business, check out the link in the description below to my school community, the Autopilot Agent Academy, where I have tons of video content like this and so much more, teaching you how to build these AI automations, AI agents, workflows, new tools, so many different things. Plus, you get the community aspect where you get to actually converse with other real estate agents who are doing the same thing in their business. And like I said, first 100 members get locked in at that crazy low price, $47 a month. You can cancel anytime. It is an absolute no-brainer. So check that out in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button if these videos are of interest to you. If you are subscribed, thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. And other than that, we will see you in the next video.